You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Sides of the story, linking Jamaicans in the diaspora with Jamaicans of like mind in Jamaica.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home.
Okay.
Both sides of the
There's a
story.
little more clarity.
Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Sides of the story.
Hi, Davin. Afternoon. If you're not sure if you heard me the first time, just confirm that you heard the song.
Time now.
You can
for
get it
both
if you really
sides of the
want.
story
Jimmy
on
Cliff.
Power 106
You
FM.
can get
We
it
will
if you
not
really
take sides,
want. Jimmy
but we
Cliff.
listen to your side.
Can you
Join
call
us as we
Richie
explore
and
the
confirm
issues,
that you got
present
that,
the
please?
facts, speak with the experts,
Call
and as
Richie,
always,
please.
listen to both sides. What's your story?
And
Tell us
for
on
this,
both
just
sides
so
of the
that you
story.
have some
922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both
All right, your
sides of the
cue
story.
is going to be "O Country to Your Goal." "O Country to Your Goal." Let's go.
Is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
I saw my land in the morning, and oh, but she was fair. The hills flamed upwards, scorning death and failure here. I saw through the mist of the morning a wave like a sea set free, faith to the dawn returning, dark tide, bright unity. I saw my friends in the morning. They called from an equal gate. Build now whilst time is burning. Forward before it's late. The old gods awake. Past and future break. On as the voices roll. Move as a single whole. Forward, forward, forward. O country, to your goal.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You succeed at last. Yeah. Persecution you must feel.
Do we have a 215?
You got your mind set on a dream.
That's Orbit Hill.
You can get it You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. Yeah. You can get it if you really want. But you must try,
I wanted to not
try,
just have
try.
Oh, okay.
You
but three of them. They're ready for it.
You can get it if you really want, but you must
Yes, he's coming over for 2:15. He's just roughly.
Okay.
You succeed at last.
He's Minister of what again?
Minister of Industry, Commerce, Industry, Investment and Commerce. Industry, Investment and Commerce.
You can get it if you really want, but you must try. You succeed at last. Don't you know it? Don't I show?
Let's go. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, and the Decade of Action for Road Safety. It's the 14th day of the 6th month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Put another way, it's the 14th day of the 2nd month of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season. In this Disaster Risk Reduction Month, Road Safety Awareness Month, Bright Month, and Pride Month. It's National Immigrant Heritage Month in the United States, where they're also marking National Caribbean American Heritage Month. In fact, this week is National Caribbean American Restaurant Week. And as for us here in Jamaica, this week is Diaspora Week. It's also Men's Health Week. Today is being observed as World Sea Turtle Day. It's Commemoration Day of Victims of the Communist Terror in Latvia, Day of Mourning and Hope in Lithuania, Freedom Day in Malawi, and Liberation Day in the Falkland Islands. It's World Blood Donor Day. Hoy es martes, el 14 de junio 2022. Y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. Come back. C'est mardi le 14 juin 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de ceux parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 13h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. Come back. All we're saying is it's Tuesday, the 14th of June, 2022, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices, and that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Come back. This afternoon, we come to you live from the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition here at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we are in the friendly city, Montego Bay. It's, and just in case you're learning about this organization for the first time, well, the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition is regarded as the world's must-attend event for free zones and associated entities. It is an opportunity to build a level of awareness among world free zone organizations, members, and prominent participants from across the globe. And as you would imagine, the biggest little country in the world, Jamaica, is at the center of it all because it's happening right here in our backyard. Yesterday was a busy day. There was the usual registration. The exhibition was opened yesterday. The summit itself was opened as well. There was a presentation on global investment trends and prospects, key challenges and opportunities. Panel 1 looked at emerging issues for special economic zone policy advocacy. And then there was another panel on SDG model zones, that's Sustainable Development Goals model zones. And then another panel working together to facilitate investment in the recovery. And there was a discussion on the World Free Zones Organization special sessions, doing business with UK free ports, doing business with US foreign trade zones, as well as the zone management system. And then after the coffee break, there was a signing ceremony for the establishment of and they'll tell us how they're pronouncing this, G-A-S-E-Z. Is it gaze or well, we'll wait for them. But the official opening and tour of the exhibition then followed, and then there was a welcome and networking reception. That was yesterday. Today, registration opened at 8 o'clock in the morning, followed by the opening of the exhibition an hour later at 9. There was the opening ceremony and the keynote speech delivered by the Prime Minister. In fact, on our way down, we did notice the Prime Minister's entourage heading back to the corporate area while we headed out to the friendly city, Montego Bay. And after the keynote speech, the presentation, Jamaica SEZ, as in Special Economic Zone Developers Guide to Investment, the Jamaica Special Economic Zone. And then there was a coffee break and networking, and a title sponsor presentation. There's a panel coming up, Shaping the Future of Supply Chain Resilience, and then the launch announcements, then the lunch break, and then a panel on charting the future of an inclusive e-commerce, and other launch announcements will continue throughout the afternoon. Still to come, the panel Building a New Generation of SDG ESG Entities. Special academic panel will also be in action, and then the participants will depart their hotels for the port of Falmouth, we're told, and there will be what is being called the One Love Soiree, an evening of elegance and culture. That's happening at 7:30 this evening, and that's just, I mean, we're just a day, hardly a day and a half, and so much ground covered already, and so much more to come. Wednesday the 15th, that's tomorrow. The conference will continue, and there are other developments to come, and we will share the information with you as the time goes by. We're coming, oops, look at the time. We need to take the break. After the break, we hope to have with us Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
Walk into Margins Pharmacy and you will feel better. The service is clearly different. Margins Pharmacy, call 876-703-6335.
Oh, wow.
The time by Margins Pharmacy is...
Where you know? 16 minutes past 2 o'clock.
Importers, shipments
Oh,
requiring
nice.
you to pay customs
Nice.
duties and taxes are
Let me-
cleared on a customs goods
Let's keep in
declaration
touch.
known as an IM4 or IMS4.
2014.
Ask your clearing agent
at
to
you
provide
now.
your customs declaration, customs
All
assessment
right.
notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or
Putting the
C
minutes
number,
on that
which can
side?
be used to
Is that it?
verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C
If
number.
we're gonna
It
include him
is
in the-
your right.
I'm streaming.
For details, email the
It's
Jamaica
all right,
Customs
no
Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.
I'm doing Facebook and YouTube.
Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
You hear that?
No, man, that's all right.
Ever since I moved out of my
In
house,
some
I can
instances,
just
I have
sit
two
back,
from the
relax,
same
have a
entity.
drink.
So
Not
just
all
add
all
another
thanks to
chair.
Gateway financing
Okay,
up to
okay.
95% of the house. And if you're doing a home equity loan, they finance up to 100%. That's really better than.
Gateway Cooperative Credit Union. For more information on our mortgage plan, visit our website at www.gatewayja.com. Opening the way to your financial success.
Send me a
Farmer,
that's
come
picture
for
or
a candid
something of that.
conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all
Oh,
play
really?
with its
Go Hubbard.
development. That's a morning with the Minister every second and fourth Friday of every
Okay.
month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
So what you do? Just plug it in. It take over from the camera with audio as well, and then you move it. Okay. All right, I need to get one of those. Let's go. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're live inside, I think this is Exhibition Hall C, for the World Free Zones Organization annual international conference and exhibition in Conference Hall C at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in the friendly city. How about that? Yes, indeed. And so we are standing by to connect with the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And good afternoon to Dollis Campbell, who is just by our booth right now. And while we're standing by, let's remind you for those of you who know, for those who don't, that the World Free Zones Organization, World FZO, as the Americans say, or FZO, it's a global not for profit organization registered in Geneva, Switzerland, and headquartered in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates since 2014. It essentially unites members under one authoritative and collective voice, providing representation to the interests of free zones around the world. Its main goal is to enhance free zones' global contribution to economic prosperity and social development by fostering best practices, sharing industry knowledge, and supporting clean trade policies through standardized regulation. And joining us now is the Minister of Industry, Investment, and Commerce, Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill. How are you?
Mr. Dervan, how nice to see you. But I can't see because you wear a mask. Good for you. Um, I'm very well, Dervan, and good to have you here with us in the exhibition hall.
Well, it's good to be here. The build up to this event has been quite grand, quite spectacular, and enticing, and enthralling, and all the other adjectives
And
we could come up with,
consistent.
and consistent. Uh, for those who perhaps are listening to us and they don't get it, or they're still trying to get it, why should they pay attention to what's happening right here at the Montego Bay Convention Center?
We have over 1,000 people who are very closely associated with the free zone organizations around the world. Over 3,000 of them. Until yesterday, the World Free Zone membership was just about 3,000. However, with an arrangement with UNCTAD, which is a United Nations Agency for Trade and Development, the United Nations decided that, look, this free zone business is a critical economic activity in the world. So we have some on one side, some in manufacturing outsourcing, some in high-tech outsourcing. So let's put them all together in one alliance. And so UNCTAD came together with the World Free Zone and others with eight free zone areas around the world, and put together the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones. So now it's a 7,000 body. You have that entity here in Jamaica. That happens very rarely. That agreement really is equal to the December 10, 1982 agreement 40 years ago for the law of the sea. And the Seabed Authority, as you know, is established in Kingston.
That's right.
So it's a big deal. And I have encouraged you, you'd have heard me over the radio and my colleagues over the radio all these weeks saying you cannot miss this because there are investors here, there are people who are interested in Jamaica. Dr. Mohammed Al Zarumi, who is the head of the World Free Zone Organization, out of Dubai, is here. Dr. Samir Har- Harumi. Zarumi is from Dubai. Harumi is from actually Morocco and is the head of the Free Zone Association as a CEO. They're all here. There are lots of people from Europe, Latin America, Africa, and even Afghanistan, and of course India. So investors are here. People with knowledge are here. They have seen Jamaica in the light that they never expected. They don't expect that we have this fabulous convention center in Montego Bay. When you look at it, Dervan, I've been all over the world, including the Middle East, and we stand up well against them. Even before they came, I went into the kitchen, and we have the best commercial kitchen in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, I looked at the equipment. It's Vulcan equipment. It's the best kitchen equipment you can get. So and the food has been good. The exhibition center, you're sitting in it here. You see how nicely people have come in and spent their money, put up their booths, showing their videos. Their people are in great uniforms. You can see them. So it's a really wonderful place to come. That's what it means. And of course, all the hotels are full. All the hotels are full. There are no rooms available. So that's the first benefit. So taxi men get benefit, restaurants get benefit, all the transportation sector. So we're doing well from this conference.
Yes. And what are the key indicators to watch when it is all done to say, to tick those boxes? We achieved this, we achieved that, we achieved this
Well,
one.
we achieve attendance,
Mhm.
we achieve registration,
Mhm.
we achieve hotel bookings,
Mhm.
we achieve people with the speakers coming in to educate and share
Mhm.
knowledge, and over time as investments happen, because nobody comes and see your, even when you're buying a house, Dervan, how many times you go look at the house, how many times you look at the plan, and you know you're going to invest in it, you know
Yes.
you're going to buy the house, but
Yes.
it's not so it go. It
Yes.
takes time to make sure you get comfortable,
Mhm.
and one day you sit down and you sign the check and say yes, no, I'm ready to invest. So we still have work to
So
do.
you're sowing the seeds.
We're sowing the seeds, but we have to follow up.
Mhm.
We have to travel sometimes. We have to have Zoom meetings. But most of these things don't happen at Zoom. You have to sit down face to face, like I'm looking in your eyes,
Mhm.
and we talk, and we go to dinner, and we discuss, and we disagree, and we come back and agree, and we sign.
Yes. And what about the participants themselves? Well, in particular, the exhibitors, the representing various businesses, industries, etc. Uh, what have
What do
you
they
been
get out of
hearing
this?
from them? Yes, and what do they? Yeah.
What they get out of this is exposure. That's the
Mhm.
first thing.
Mhm.
You have Indians, you have Arabs, you have all kinds of Europeans, you have Americans, Latin America people seeing what is available in Jamaica.
Mm.
They cannot believe some of the things that they've seen. I'm looking, sitting here before JBM. JBM has put up a phenomenal, it's just, speaking about it because it's right before us.
Yes.
They put up a phenomenal video display, and they give you VR. They put the thing on your head,
Virtual reality.
virtual reality, and you see the development that they're going to put on with warehouses, houses, with retail section. Amazing. And you see, it is very impressive.
Mhm.
You see, Dubai have their exhibition here. Jamaicans get exposed to that. Curacao has a whole big double booth. They brought in 22 people
Wow.
from Curacao, and I just finished meeting with the Prime Minister and his team. I'm going to meet with him and his finance minister and his team again, because we are looking to have a really good collaboration with them, as we are with other development and developers of free zones.
Okay. And so you would know that over the years, like back in the day, people would some people would scoff at free zones because they see them
Glad you
as
raised that.
sweatshops, etc. Mm-hmm.
A derogatory term. So
Yes.
you know what? I can't talk for what happened in the past, but I can talk for this.
Mhm.
About 3 weeks ago, the Prime Minister went to open the informatics park in Portmore, and I went. We have 2,000 people employed in there, thereabouts. So, Dervan, I stayed back afterwards. And I remember meeting a young man who happened to be from the Prime Minister's constituency, but he didn't know the Prime Minister. And we said, what are you doing? He said, I'm the country manager for A.B.C.D company. He started out, I said, where started? Input operator. Just finished high school or something. Barely out. He could get his first degree, second degree, all out of the BPO section, become manager and the country manager for this big company. I go up there and I see JetBlue has their region of excellence in Jamaica, and we have other airlines where we're doing all of their backroom work for them. So people are there for 7, 8 years. They have very senior one vice president from Jampro left Jampro to go to head up a big BPO business in the informatics center. Very, very big. You know him, and if I were to call the company, you would know who it is.
Yes.
So you see that there are really good jobs there. So there, when I walk out into the car park, I never see any ladder. I don't see no pro box. I see good big brand, nice name, fancy cars out there. That means people are living well. They're sending their kids to school. They're educating themselves, and the BPO sector in the pandemic was the fastest growing
Yes, I read
economic
that.
sector in the country.
Mhm.
We had 43,000 before the pandemic. Today we have 54,000 and growing fast. So it
Absolutely.
is no longer a sweatshop, it's a real career.
Indeed, it is. So, what's the space we need to watch as we go to this break?
With the space you need to watch is Kemanas, and we're looking at 4 new development areas for SCZ in Trelawney.
Okay, we'll be watching. Thank you.
A pleasure to be here.
All the best. That's Senator the Honorable Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, speaking with us here inside the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica, the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. More after the break.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now 2:40. Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Calling all Jamaican business operators. Meet the world at Montego Bay Convention Center June 13 to 17 at A.I.C.E 2022. Small, medium, and large enterprises, this conference is for you. Capitalize on prospective investors and hear world-class speakers at the 8th World Free Zone Organization's Annual International Conference and Exhibition A.I.C.E, June 13 to 17, Montego Bay Convention Center. Reduced rates for local business operators. Register now at AICE2022.com.
Isratech Jamaica Limited is excited to announce it has opened its second superstore at our head office in Kendal, Manchester. With this latest expansion, Isratech has branched out to offer a wider variety of products. Everything agriculture, everything water, everything energy and home and garden hardware, everything for your home garden and business under one roof. Visit Lot 2, Kendall Shooters Hill, Mandeville. Call 876-603-3568 or visit isratech.com.
Gen Zers, we're back. Gen Z returns with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics.
Ms. Edwards, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good to see you.
We're talking
I don't know why you have me on
dating, dancehall,
hard acting all over.
Or is it the other way
So
around?
join us Saturday at 10 a.m. on Soul Release Conference and 6:30 p.m.
So we're online.
Gen Z.
Well, it's live on Power 106 all over, all our platforms. I'm also streaming on
Our
Facebook.
children are the rocks on which our
And,
future will be built. The
and
future
YouTube.
leaders of our country who will protect our people. Here's a Jubilee salute to Jamaica's children with 60 great essays by our
what
top
have you thought of
students
it
in
so
the
far?
Gleaner's Best in
Well,
Class book.
it's
Available for purchase
my
at the
late
Gleaner
mother would
Library,
say,
7
"Anna
North
Sopna
Street,
Go,
the
Sopna
RJR
Go."
Gleaner Gift Shop, 32 Linders Road, and the Gleaner's Western Bureau
I like that
offices
one.
at
I gotta
23
use
Orange
that.
Street,
Please
Montego
feel
Bay.
free to
The
do
Gleaner,
Definitely,
where
you
life
know,
and
this is
focus.
the future.
Yes.
We're looking at it right in the eye.
Right. Let's talk about it. Stand by.
It's your biggest moment.
Yes, it should be. Let's go, studio. Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're live at the 8th World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. It's happening here at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in Montego Bay, the friendly city. Joining us now is the president of JAMPRO, Diane Edwards. Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, very well, Dervan. This is such an exciting event. I'm really kind of buoyed up by it and ginned up by it.
Indeed, because there are those of us in Jamaica who grew up hearing about free zones and seeing, the workers lining the streets, waiting for transportation, going to and from work, etc. So some of us still have that image of a free zone.
Those
but
were
a
the
lot.
days
Yes.
of 807 garments.
Mhm.
So that was a kind of very different era. Because to be honest, that was an era of sewing cut pieces. And we made the strategic error of not moving up the value chain. We're not
Oh.
making that mistake now.
Mhm.
So what happened to that industry was when NAFTA came about
That's
and
the
the
North Atlantic
Mexicans
Free Trade
Association.
Association.
Agreement, sorry. Yeah, and Mexico then had free access to the US market.
Mhm.
A lot of the companies moved to Mexico.
Oh.
So we were undone by the legislation. But now what we're doing is really working for the future.
Mhm.
Because what we have is the BPO's outsourcing industry, which really is a continuum. It goes from, what people continue to think of as call centers, and I need to dispel that notion
Yeah.
because it's not person with telephone, it's person with computer.
Mhm.
Most of these applications are heavily computerized. In fact, some of our people in these um, outsourcing operations, what we now call the global services sector, are interacting with robotic process automation. Big word, big concept, but this is the future. And so what we're doing this time is we're helping our people to climb the value chain and upskill themselves so that they're ready for the jobs of tomorrow. Because
How is
the
that
jobs
going?
of tomorrow are here today.
Yes.
That is going very well. We have the Global Services Sector Project, which we are implementing now. We're actually in year 4 of implementation.
Time flies. 4 years already.
Just like my head is in a whirl. But what we have under that program is an apprenticeship program where we get young people into apprenticeships at companies which will employ them. So it's all channeled towards a job at the end of your apprenticeship. You're not just doing apprenticeship for joke. It's a job at the end. And then we have a competitive fund where we co-fund short-term courses to upskill people, and a supervisory and leadership management program where we're co-funding with the companies. So you want to upskill your employees in this sector, we will help fund your courses, your training courses. So we're working with a lot of companies on that. And then we have the Global Services Skills Council, which is really where the companies can say to the educational institutions,
This is
this
the
is
kind of
how you need to train people to come work with me. So we're really trying to graduate job-ready people, not just people with book learning, because book learning is great and important, but it's not enough to get you a job.
I see. All right. So factor in now the free zones within the context of the technology, etc.
So most of the outsourcing companies, the global services sector companies, are in special economic zones. What that means is they're outside of the customs area. So they're almost like offshore, but physically in Jamaica. And as I tell a lot of young people, you can work for a Fortune 500 company sitting
Without-
in Jamaica. You don't have to leave here.
Yeah.
And many of the companies pay in US dollars. Many of the companies give a lot of perks, which people don't factor in. They talk about it's a low wage industry. It's not. The basic wage may be relatively low, but it's a productivity driven industry.
More
So that
productive you
means
are.
the more productive you are, the more you earn money. I mean, a lot of them told me that they didn't need car parks when they were building these special economic zones because everybody would be coming by public transport. Well, what happened? Now, too many people have cars. They have to be expanding car park.
That's
So
quite
it's good.
remarkable. So from where you sit, how do you how are we doing in terms of the can we call it the rollout of SEZs or SEZs?
We
What's
can
that
call
looking
it
like?
that. We have 160 plus special economic zones in Jamaica.
What?
Yes, we actually do. People don't, well, they're not going to go and label it special economic
True.
zone. So you wouldn't necessarily know because a special economic zone is an industrial park. The difference is that you're outside the customs area and you have to get special economic zone status from Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. So it's an application process because it allows you access to lower tax, lower corporate income tax, and to duty-free everything basically because you're outside the customs area. So you can import what you want and export what you want completely free of customs, as long as it's not contraband.
Right.
Obviously. I have to mention that.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a lot of privileges to being in these special economic zones. So we have to be careful whom we let in there, and we have to do a lot of due diligence on the companies when they come into when they apply to come into the zones. But there are, as I said, a lot of zones here. Most of them are single entity, because what people also don't realize, it doesn't have to be a multi-user zone. It can be one company that applies for special economic zone status. So that company can be what they call a developer, or you can have another company called an occupant. So that's like a tenant. So we have a lot of zones. We have about 11 multi-user zones. So for instance, the Montego Bay Free Zone, the Kingston Free Zone, these are multi-user zones with a number of companies in them.
Where's the Kingston Free Zone?
Down on the port.
Oh, okay. I
So
think I have an
yeah,
idea where the Montego Bay. I think I've been there.
yes,
that
it's on the
recently.
Freeport,
Right.
Montego
Right.
Freeport. So yeah, these are hives of activity. I mean, we have 55,000 people employed in the special in the BPO industry, and I would say 90% of those are in special economic zones.
I see.
So in terms of total employment, we are in the 60 odd thousand.
And then there are all kinds of other spin-offs and linkages.
Exactly. Linkages is an important word, because what we're trying to do is encourage companies in the zones to buy more services and more goods from the wider economy. And that's the whole point about creating these special economic zones, as opposed to what was free zones before, who had little interface with the general economy. But now we're really pushing. So I know one company, and I don't really want to call their name, but they told me that 50% of their expansion in the last 7 years has been because of the outsourcing sector. So they supply services into the outsourcing sector, and I can't tell you otherwise. But the thing is that there are a lot of companies that have opportunities to supply. So you supply uniforms, you can supply accounting services, legal services, IT services, into these companies, because they all need these services.
Whenever I do interviews with people like you, Dan Edwards, and hear all that is being done, I'm thinking then, why are more of our young people and investors and Jamaicans in general buying into a lot of what is happening? I don't know if it's still the case, where we have a lot of investors from outside of Jamaica who seem to be able to spot the value of engaging in the kind of developments that I don't know. Is what else can we do to
I think
get
we
it
have
more?
to communicate more. I think there is a big divide between the boomer generation and the millennial generation. I think we have brought up, because I'm a boomer, we have brought up the millennials in a different way, and they are growing up in a different environment. So their expectations are different. And a lot of us boomers don't really understand how to deal with millennials. And I don't think we're communicating sufficiently. So there are a lot of young people out there who desperately want jobs and who are willing to go the extra mile. We had a talent fair, for instance. We had one in October and we had one in May. The one in October had 4,000 young people online, purely online. We had 3,000 jobs on offer. We had 900 people who got jobs out of that event. Okay?
Just like that.
So I'm telling you, there are young people out there who want to work. There are also young people out there who believe they must get rich quick, and they don't want to put out no effort. Now, for those young people, I think we need to be communicating to them in a different way. You don't have to leave Jamaica to make things happen. You don't have to. It's what I said. You can work for Amazon, sitting in your home in some cases, or sitting in an office in Kingston or an office in Montego Bay. You can work for Netflix. You can work for Cigna Insurance. You can work for Petco. All these companies are the end users of the BPO services. So we need to communicate more and take the message out more to young people, so that they see that there is opportunity here.
There is hope.
Absolutely, there is hope. I mean, when you come to a conference like this and you see over 100 nationalities here, and they're all interested in special economic zones. How do we make them work better? How do we make them more sustainable? Alternative energy, reduce energy costs, and the quality of talent, human talent. That's a big buzzword here. Everybody moves because of talent.
Excellent. We could talk with you all afternoon, Dan Edwards, but we have to wrap the segment now. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, and likewise, Dervan.
Okay, take
care,
care.
and see you at the diaspora conference, I'm sure.
Definitely.
All right, take care.
All the best. Dan Edwards, president of JAMPRO. This is Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, live from the 8th World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Calling all Jamaican business operators. Meet the world at Montego Bay Convention Center June 13 to 17 at A.I.C.E 2022. Small, medium, and large enterprises, this conference is for you. Capitalize on prospective investors and hear world-class speakers at the 8th World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition, A.I.C.E, June 13 to 17, Montego Bay Convention Center. Produce rates for local business operators. Register now at AICE2022.com.
Hi, I'm Dervan, welcome. Nice to meet you.
Yes, likewise.
Good, good.
Is it going live?
Yes, it's live on Power 106 FM all over the world. And live on
No, it's not.
Facebook.
Do you want to get my business card? That's not me.
Right, I know. But yes, that would help.
No, just get my business. No, just get my business card.
A
Oh, you
message
can
from
do
the
it.
Minister
No,
of
just get my
Health and
business.
Wellness.
My business card,
Jen
please.
Sitters, we're back. Jen Sitters with a new look, fresh faces, hot topics, and a whole new vibe. We're talking finance, dating,
Thank you.
dancing.
Thanks, Celia.
You think it? We respect it. You don't want to miss it. So join us Saturdays at 10 a.m. on Power 106 FM and 6:30 p.m. on Jen, a show for the youth by
He probably should have done it before so he gets the whole
Today's
full
broadcast
essence
from
of
the
it.
World Free Zone
that what I'm looking at
Organization's
there?
annual international
No,
conference
this
and
is our
exhibition
boutique.
during both
This
sides of
one.
the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Stand by. Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. The 8th World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition is our focus this afternoon as we come to you live from the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in Montego Bay, the friendly city. And joining us now is the Managing Director of Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, Donna Marie Howe. Hello, how are you?
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Good to have you with us here on Power 106 FM, Both Sides of the Story. Now, there are some people when they hear bauxite, they think, oh, mining and and so on and so forth, and dust and this and that and so on. Is this a new approach I am seeing here? Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, first of all.
It's a restructuring, it's a repurposing, it's a rebranding. We are very grateful for our tradition and our heritage, and we've inherited various lands, 4,000 acres in the parish of St. Anne, and we're going to utilize that in an environmentally friendly way, and we're going to build a commercial and industrial park.
Sorry about that. Let's do that again. Sorry. Let's go, studio. Managing Director of Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, Donna Marie Howe. You could say that was the rehearsal.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Right.
No, that's what happens when you're live.
Indeed, so it is. So tell us now about this transformation in terms of the image and the actual work being done in as far as Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited is concerned.
Right, so the rebranding of that JVM is going to be reusing that land in an environmentally friendly way. And we've got two projects initially on the horizon. We're calling that the Industrial Park and Commercial Park, that is located in the parish of St. Anne, in the Lidford area. You're going to use 65 acres there, and we're going to build out 300,000 of rentable warehousing space. So there will comprise of a BPO, which will be about 63,000 square feet, warehouses. It's going to really transform that area, job creation. So it's utilizing the reserves that we got from bauxite. We got land, all of that, and now we're going to build out transform that area in this warehouse.
What will this mean for the communities in which you'll be operating?
Giving back. So the communities around there, they will provide jobs. So we're going to do an apprenticeship. We've got some partners. The Monique College is in that area, and we'll be partnering with Monique College that do the certification for the BPO, and it'll be like an apprenticeship program, so that they know in the 18 months that they will get certified, that they will have a work to go into. So it's a transitional program, and therefore as well, we know that there's some manufacturing businesses that are moving out of Montego Bay and Kingston that want to position themselves in St. Anne's. So there will be a hub for in between the two hubs, in between Montego Bay and Kingston.
So is it just mainly putting up physical structures, or is there any other component of the use, any other aspect of the usage of the land that you'd like to tell us about, whether to happen soon or maybe sometime in the near future?
The first phase of it is actually happening right now.
Oh.
So those that are familiar in St. Anne, they will know the old Reynolds plant. There's some dilapidated buildings there. So we are actually under construction now, refurbishing those and repurposing that. So that will be for immediate rent right now. So if you go to our website, Jamaica Bauxite Mining, you will see those available spaces there to rent. And then over the next 9 months, we are building that out, and we're building it out to a state-of-the-art warehouses. So that will be phase 1 of the project. And then over the next coming 18 to 36 months will be the big commercial park. So that is where we'll start sensitizing everybody about that. So more to come.
So based on your plans, how do you view your attendance and positioning and representation at this World Free Zones Organization annual international conference and exhibition?
It's showcasing what we have. We're a government entity, and it's important to give back. And we're showing that we've got an ecosystem here. We're connected to the Reynolds Pier for export, so it's bringing visibility to our offering. So it's not only that we started this conversation that our business was called mining, but we're utilizing that. We're now going into having a logistics hub, and we're connecting it to our port as well, so the export market of it. So we're showcasing those parts of our business.
Sounds exciting. Looking forward to it. In fact, speaking of looking forward to it, I hear you have a VR feature happening at your booth.
Yes, it is. It's very futuristic, and it just shows you where we're going in this digitalized market, the technology aspects of it, because it will be marketing towards the AI. So persons that are here have the experience to see what it looks like. A realistic is greater than a 3D experience, because it's almost like you're in the space. So you can walk around it, you can have a 360 virtual experience of it. So please do, everyone that's here, come check out our booth, JVM. You'll get the virtual experience of the commercial park.
And we're looking forward to all of our strategic partners that we've got. We have come in a free zone because that will bring a lot of opportunities for investors and partners and developers. So this is it's been valuable for us to be here at the annual international conference.
Excellent. Well, we thank you very much for speaking with us this afternoon. Donna Marie Howe, all the very best.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, listeners. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Take care. So that's Donna Marie Howe. She is Managing Director of Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, and making sure that the brand is highlighted and recognized and that everybody knows of the plans to come. Exciting times for the people of St. Anne. Stand by. In the meantime, thank you very much, Donna Marie Hall. All the very best.
Thanks, yeah.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Quite a number of messages popping in. That's Joan from Bermuda. She says, "Good day, Sir D, Senator Minister Hill and Ms. Edwards. Welcome to my friendly city. We're really enjoying today's broadcast. This subject is truly a reminder of why we invest in Jamaica, land we love. Much more good than bad happening there. We are learning so much, teacher. Can't thank you enough. Keep up the good work." Thank you very much, Joan in Bermuda, for your message. Steve in Toronto, Canada says, "Thought you would be at Diaspora Conference. Could you," and then asking us to play a festival song each day. All right, well, that's usually what we do leading up to. But Steve, we'll be at the Diaspora Conference tomorrow, so we'll see you tomorrow, right? We'll be at the Diaspora Conference tomorrow. All the best. Jennifer Stewart is tuned in as well. Good afternoon to you, Jennifer. Good to have you on board. And Valerie Rochester says, "Good afternoon. Thanks for all you do." Thank you, Valerie Rochester in Atlanta, Georgia. Dalton Mill says, "Good afternoon, Sir Dervan, Malcolm, and listeners. I trust everyone is doing well. Let's keep focused on doing our part to improve the world." Tuning in from Connecticut. Welcome. In America, they say Connecticut. Welcome, Dalton Mill in Connecticut. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Donna Marie Howe of Jamaica Bauxite Mining, preparing us for developments in the Garden Parish of St. Anne. Stand by for that at 3 minutes to 3 o'clock in the afternoon here inside Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center here in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But as we've been saying, for marketing purposes, we are in the friendly city, Montego Bay. It's the 8th annual International Conference and Exhibition of the World Free Zones Organization. And you can learn more. You can email, you can go to their website AICE2022.com. AICE2022.com. That's where we are directing your attention to right now. AICE2022.com. You can email events@worldfzo.org. That's events@worldfzo.org. And you can communicate with the team, and whatever other information is needed, you can get that. In the meantime, the heavyweights are here in terms of the Jamaican institutions, organizations, and individuals. And so we're talking, for example, of JAMPRO. JAMPRO had to be a part of this, and they are. And of course, we have the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. And then there are the various booth holders right around. In fact, wherever I look, I see them. We have Tax Administration Jamaica. There's the National Land Agency, and they're having a bit of a parley right now. the Heart NSTA Trust, also very well represented, as we said, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, and a couple of their departments and agencies being showcased as well. Manpower and Maintenance Services are also here and playing their part and making sure that they put their brand out there. In the meantime, we're going to take a break, but if you missed yesterday, Monday, and if it looks as if you're going to be missing today, Tuesday, there is always tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th. But as far as the program of activities for the rest of this afternoon is concerned, we're looking at, there's a panel coming up at 3:35, building a new generation of SDG, ESG entities. We'll tell you more after the break.
Coast to Coast Concrete, the high-quality concrete for fencing, roofing, foundation, and road surfacing. Call 876-754-7472. The time by Coast to Coast Concrete is 3 o'clock. Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IM4.
Okay, hi.
So we agent to provide your social media link. Customs assessment notice and customs receipt.
No problem. It's my name. Just pretty straightforward. You're lucky you have some people after you in St. Thomas. Good to see you. Good to see you.
IMS4 or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Tax Administration Jamaica presents Make Me Talk Tax, Wednesdays at 3:15 p.m. on both sides of the story, a program that educates and informs taxpayers of the various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Make Me Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica.
We're live,
together to
so be careful what you say.
better.
Our children are the rocks on which our future will be built. The future leaders of our country who will protect our people. There's a Jubilee salute to Jamaica's children with 60 great essays by our top students in the Gleaner's Best in Class book. Available for purchase at the Gleaner Library, 7 North Street, the RJ Gleaner Gift Shop, 32 Lyndhurst Road, and the Gleaner's Western Bureau offices at 23
Yes,
Orange
sir.
Street,
So,
Montego Bay.
I'm
The
fine,
Gleaner,
thanks.
We're live on focus.
So I want to
Today's
know
broadcast from the World
why
Free
you
Zone
have seen it
Organization's
so
annual
important
international
for you to
conference and
be
exhibition
at
during
this
both sides of the story is brought to
And
you
of
by
course,
Jamaica
we're
Promotions
going to talk
Corporation,
about your
Jamco,
favorite subject,
Manpower and Maintenance
St. Thomas.
Services Limited Group,
The Moran Day
Jamaica Customs Agency, and
development.
Jamaica
Sure.
Special Economic Zone Authority.
Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're live in Exhibition Hall C here at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in Montego Bay. How about that? Can you picture it? Yeah, that's where we are. Joining us now is a gentleman who is very involved and very instrumental in the work being done by Factories Corporation of Jamaica. And he wears a few other hats as well, but we want to talk with him as far as Factories Corporation of Jamaica is concerned. He is Mr. Tanny Shirley. We just want to make sure his mic is up and running. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Tanny Shirley, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
Sir Dervan, greetings. Good to see you.
Same here. Same here.
Keep up the good works, man.
I'm trying. First up, place on record for us how much weight you put on an event of this nature, this World Free Zones Organization annual international conference and exhibition happening right here in our backyard, Jamaica.
I cannot overemphasize the impact, the what this is doing to influence the world of Jamaica readiness to participate in what we consider now true economic growth by creating the opportunities for the world to invest in Jamaica. And part of this special economic zone is that great facilitator to create networking across the globe for us to understand the business of business, where persons coming into your country want to be facilitated. And the government has played a very important role, not only to support this event, but also to support investors coming here to invest in an environment that is friendly, stable, and has the type of skill sets to facilitate business environment. So the special economic zone, the government has played a very important role. An event like this is quite costly to bring the world to Jamaica. There are over 1,000 investors who are here to see Jamaica, to understand the developments that are taking place in Jamaica,
and how they can
participate
in those developments.
participate in these developments, and how they can tell us more about the journey that they have been on. Because a lot of times we get caught up to believe that it is an easy route. You know, you talk about things and it happens tomorrow. If you talk to some of these countries, they have been struggling for years to get economic zone to where they are now. And it's because of confidence, support, and persistence that they're where they are now, and they're reaping the benefits. That doesn't mean that we have to go the long journey, but we can learn now how things are being done, and they themselves can share some of the experiences they have, which we have seen here at the conferences, where all these delegates are telling us how a special economic zone should be functional and how it can benefit Jamaica and the world.
Yes. Can you give us a sense of the demand for factory space in Jamaica at this time, or just general space for industry, business?
I can tell you that the demand for space now has never been seen before in the last possible 40 years. I can assure you that someone will be renting it or buying it. The market is very fluid. The market is demanding more and more warehouse spaces, business spaces, and we continue. If you're speaking on behalf of the government has this responsibility to be the facilitator, the cutting edge, the driving force behind investment. And this is what the government is doing. They are using agency like ourselves that reports to the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation to create and build space. And the philosophy, build it and they will come. And that is what we are seeing. The more we build, the more we see demands coming for space.
So
And the government is taking on this responsibility and networking now in public-private partnership with private sector companies who are excited about the partnership and seeing government as being more responsible, seeing government as being more balanced, more equitable in partnership, and doing the due process to ensure that there's not a lean on government, but there's a balanced approach to development on both sides. And that's where we are now.
Indeed, you are on both sides.
Yes.
Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story. That's why we are correct.
Well, let's talk about St. Thomas, because we recall being there in Morant Bay at the old Goodyear factory. We recall being there for the groundbreaking ceremony for the new town center. And I think work was supposed to start. What can you tell us there? Because we have some St. Thomas people who have been calling me and saying, where is Stanley Shirley? We want to find out from him. What is happening?
tell you,
Mm.
St. Thomas is a journey.
Mm.
It's a journey that is cemented on solid ground.
Mm.
It is a journey that we have taken on to fulfill the vision of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation to create a new urban center and to make it befitting that it be the blueprint for future development. We want to get it right. We have been trying. Of course, COVID had an impact on us. Not to say that we could not have built it, but from a financial perspective, we rely on financial institutions to give us funding and investors. Financial institutions, a lot of them were shaken up, particularly during COVID, and felt that we should go back to do some risk assessment to see the impact and what COVID would have done to the economy to ensure that we are on the right setting to occupy space from the various entities. God has been good. All the entities that had shown interest before is showing even more interest since post-COVID. And we were able to convince our investors to continue to provide the funding. Based off the demand, we also had more persons wanted additional space. Even the courthouse wanted more additional space.
What about KFC? They didn't ask for more space?
KFC
At the
had
rate at
enough.
which they're going.
We had enough space for them. They have a very strategic location there, and they are ready to roll as much as we are ready to roll. We have acquired 10 acres of additional land to ensure that the expansion potential of the Morant Bay Urban Center will be taken into consideration. To say why we have now started construction, we are out there. We are hoarding off the place. We are about to take down the old buildings. The contractor's contract has been signed. Everything has been done. Funding is in place. Of course, because of the expansion, we had to look additional funding. You're looking at a $6 billion construction development. That is not something you just run and take place. It requires our financial institution to be comfortable with it. So we are at this point. It has been a journey, as I said. We started out when you break ground, so we have many rivers to cross. And when you're crossing rivers, you buck up on stones, sometimes water, and you have to know how to navigate. We have navigated that, and I think we are on solid ground now, ready to roll. So the people of Morant Bay, let me just say to them, you have been patient, you have been understanding, you have looked forward to what's going to be the blueprint of urban development, of which history you'll be part of history. And just be more patient as we started. A lot of persons have signed up for jobs with the contractor, and a lot of subcontracting will be done in the area doing construction. And the individuals who would have occupied space in the development are quite happy with where we are and what we have seen. The Member of Parliament and the various councillors and all the stakeholders are there are very much up to date to where we are, and is quite pleased with the progress today. So
what's the timeline this time? What we're looking at?
And Wednesday of next week, the place will be boarded off, and all construction work will start to commence.
All right. I can think of a lady, I can't remember her name, but I'm sure she's celebrating already.
Let me tell you, sir, you're going to find, sometimes we're not allowed the minor to drive the major. St. Thomas is a major community, major community. I've not spoken to one resident today that is not excited, that understand the journey, that understand what we are doing because we communicate with them. But then you're going to have that 1% or the percentage of 1% who didn't believe in it in the first place, said it would never happen, and now they have faced the reality that it will happen and trying to be a little bit over exuberant in their reaction. We understand that.
Yes.
Not everybody going to fall in line. I can give you the story of the mother and her son who went to camp.
If it's not too long.
No, and they
Because
line up.
we're coming
and
up on the break.
Everybody, the instruction was to turn right.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone turned right except her son who turned left.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, look at them, they're all wrong. Right? So never let the one person who claim that you're wrong drive all the ones that think you're right.
We hear you.
Right?
Thank you very much, Danny Shirley.
So
Always
Malcolm,
good to talk with you.
all is well. And we are doing many other projects down building. We are doing one in Boundbrook. We are going to be doing one in Old Harbor, one in Negril.
Okay.
So follow us.
All right.
We are on the path under the guidance of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation to create new urban centers to make Jamaica a new place for investment and investment opportunities. That is why we are supporting this conference.
Excellent.
So God bless you and thank you for your time.
Bless you too. Take care. Tanny Shirley of the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, FCJ. Well, you heard the man. Watch out. Wednesday this week. Construction. Next week. Construction should get going for the new urban center in Morant Bay on the site of the old Goodyear factory. We'll be back in just a moment. Take care.
The NWC Contact Center, serving you in so many ways. Call 888-225-5692 or
That's all right.
NWC. Why the NWC is.
How are you? It's 16 minutes past 3 o'clock.
You are an exporter, helping to elevate the face of our international trade. But in order to
All
do
right,
that,
I love these names. Let's see
on
now.
your list, you need someone that understands.
So this
you.
is
We know that finding adequate
a gin.
collateral as a
A gin.
SME can
A gin.
sometimes be challenging, which is why we partnered with our
Gin.
friends at Gin and B to bring you the Exim Expert Guarantee to give you that extra collateral support when you need it. Call Exim Bank to find out more about the Exim Expert Guarantee. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
Importers, shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are clear on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs,
an A there and
our
becomes
customers
again.
in focus.
Many people call me
Honor the law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. The program is brought to you on Wednesdays by the Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy, and on Thursdays by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity.
Yes, that used to be me.
Under the law, 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and 4 and 9:55 p.m. Wednesdays and
You're very
Thursdays
kind.
on all
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation Jampro, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs
This is
Agency,
yours.
and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Let's go, studio. Thank you so much for rejoining us in Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. Wherever in the world you are listening to us here on both sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and abroad. We're covering the 8th World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition A.I.C.E 2022. This is day 2 of 3. And joining us now is Director of Konza Technopolis in Kenya, James Agin. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How do you ask that question in Kenya? How are you?
Habari yako.
Habari yako.
Then I answer Muzuri.
Muzuri. Habari yako.
Muzuri.
Muzuri. Okay, wonderful. So now let's talk about Kanza Technopolis, because you've made the trip all the way from Kenya to Jamaica. Why?
Well, first, Kwanza is a member of the Free Zones Association. It's an SEZ. Therefore, very, very.
It's a special economic zone. Right.
Yes,
SEZ for short. Yes.
Yes, correct. It's a special economic zone, and we are in two capacities too, because we are also currently the African chair of the International Association of Science Parks, which is one of the founder member associations of what we're currently hosting in this convention this week. So we are here as founder members.
You had to be here.
Yes, we had to be here. This was the first conference of the association, so we're very, very excited about being here.
All right. So we're excited to learn about Konza Technopolis in Kenya to see what lessons we can learn from you. Just tell us a bit about Konza Technopolis, please.
So Konza Technopolis is a technopolis set up by an agency of the government.
So you want to tell us what's a technopolis then?
Yes,
please.
So it's a special zone that has been created to create a technopolis to attract investments globally.
It's like a takeoff from Metropolis.
Yes, actually right. But more on the technology side.
Right.
And that's why we are under the Ministry of ICT and Youth Affairs, because it's actually fashioned around what you have in Silicon Valley, to have a replica of Silicon Valley in Africa, and that's why we are also fashioned as the Silicon Savannah. So it's driven around forming a technology park, a technology investment area, where we set up the whole infrastructure to invite investors both locally and internationally to come and set up in Africa and be able to then have a center of investment that can be used around creating opportunities in Africa to attract and reach out to the markets within the African continent and to the wider world.
How successful would you say you have been in establishing Konza Technopolis in Kenya?
Oh, we've been very successful. The beauty about the Technopolis is that the first thing we needed to do was to set up what we call the horizontal infrastructure. What many investors look for is to come and find a plug and play place where they can set up
ready to use.
And so we've set up world-class international infrastructure, right from roadworks, electricity, water, reclamation, and all this is being done in a green environment to subscribe to the global environmental standards, as it were. So right from the cabling, the roadworks, everything that has been set up from development of infrastructure.
Environmentally friendly.
And environmentally friendly. In fact, we've got a park with animals right in the middle of the Technopolis.
Oh, really?
Yes. We've got a wildlife corridor passing right in the middle of there. And that's one of the things we pride about in Kenya, being also the global center of wildlife.
Yes. That's remarkable. Yeah. And who are the people who are investors or who have come on board for Konza Technopolis in Kenya? Give us an idea of, are these foreign investors, local and foreign?
Yes, so we've got a mix of both local and foreign. And given that we are a technopolis so heavily reliant on technology, we are focused on different pillars of investment opportunities. So we are ensuring that we have the right level of science and technology and innovation available for the investors to benefit from. Right. So we are having a university also setting up there, an Institute of Technology, Kenya Institute of Technology setting up there, a world-class institution that's been set up to also just ensure that the investors have got ability to innovate and be in touch with the fast-track trends in the global economy around innovation and technology. But it's a very, very broad investment where they're having service industries, we're having light manufacturing, we're having also the people who can support the services provided in the Technopolis, but it's a very, very broad. So there are medicine, there's pharmaceuticals that are also being involved in there. So all the different facets of manufacturing. have been invited to come in, and also just service providers in the technology world, over and above light manufacturing,
Yes.
can invest and come and set up their businesses in Konza Technologies.
Very good. Now, what can you tell us in terms of the impact of COVID-19, for example, on Konza Technopolis? Did you have to pivot, to borrow that word that has become so overused?
Well, I think what worked well for us is during COVID, we were actually still putting up the infrastructure. So that went on very well, and the infrastructure is actually moving on track in terms of the development of the infrastructure. How it affected us was our ability to market and reach out to international investors. We had to pivot to the point you raised, because we would travel a lot to go meet potential investors, and it's only the ways of marketing the Technopolis that changed. And we had to then, of course, adapt to the normal ways where now it has been done online, etc. As you've seen now, offshoring became nearshoring, etc. Therefore, we just had to leverage on those opportunities that could be available to ensure that we could then attract investors in that manner, to ensure that then we could continue achieving our aspirations, as it were. So, from a disruption perspective, we were not heavily disrupted by COVID, because we're in the development stage. That went on through the COVID period. The developers were on site, the contractors, everybody was on site, and that continued as expected.
Yes. Any lessons, any insights that you have picked up by interacting with your fellow participants at this A.I.C.E 2022 conference?
No, but a lot of lessons, a lot of learnings that have come out of it. And I think the beauty of this kind of conferences is you share a lot of best practice. You get to learn what other people with similar minds. And what I like about this conference is that what came out very clear, that we are not competing, we are collaborating. And at the back of that, everybody is very, very willing to share, right from the legal frameworks that they're working on, the government support, the level of different incentives that you can offer across all the different levels of free zones that are operating in different areas of the world. What are the key challenges they're facing? We realize a lot of similarities we have, but also learning and also looking ahead to learn from what they've experienced in their journey, to ensure that you don't go through the same, landmines, when you go through your journey, as it were. So we've met many operators, many different investors, many different providers of services in special economic zones. And for us, I think it's been very, very successful, because we are here as sponsor. We are also here with the Special Economic Zones Authority of Kenya, who is the regulatory body that actually oversees the whole implementation of the special economic zones in Kenya. So both organizations have really benefited a lot by interacting with other players in the industry here.
And how does it feel to be in Jamaica?
Oh, yeah, man. The word of life, fantastic. It's a lovely country, lovely people, and we're just so excited that we're going to spend 8 days here.
Yes.
And really got a chance to immerse and enjoy the Jamaican culture. Very excited, lovely country. We are among our brothers and sisters, loving every moment of it.
All right, wonderful. Well, it's been lovely speaking with you this afternoon on both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. For those who are listening and maybe for whatever reason they think they might need to get in touch, they would have heard this interview. They want to make sure if they need to get in touch with Konza Technopolis in Kenya that they can. What do you suggest? Just Google.
Yes, just Google Konza Technopolis. You'll find it will come up very, very well in there. And if you pass by the exhibition, we are right at the entrance of the exhibition. We have a booth right there.
Oh, that's a prime piece of real estate.
Oh, I'm telling you, prime completely. The minute you walk in, you see Konza Technopolis. Yes, but if you Google Konza Technopolis, we are there, and you can find contact details there, which will be able to reach out, and we can respond to any of the queries you may have.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All the best. James Agin, Director, Konza Technopolis in Kenya, one of the participants at this World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition happening here at the Montego Bay Convention Center. We're in Exhibition Hall C. Thank you very much. Got my card. You got mine, right? Did you? Yeah. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. Take care. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we thank those of you who have been watching and listening and participating. It's a pleasure to have you on board, and we're looking forward. We're looking forward to the details. So let's see. Eunice Beckford in St. Thomas. That's the name I was trying to remember, and I am sure she was listening to Tanny Shirley earlier on, and she will be following up. Let's take the break and come back with more in just a moment.
Importers provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 8:30.
Your health is key to your wealth.
This one?
Back and other pain, the Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging, immune active dent, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense, and Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship and to serve.
This is Jamaica, Davin. Do I have to send you this song again?
For people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints.
I just sent you the contact. If you're listening, just sent you the contact and the name of the person.
6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation Jampro, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Davin, sending you the poem now sending you the poem. It's taking a while to come over to you. Sending it on WhatsApp for you to start it for the segment, and you should have the contact information by now. Taking a while to send, we might have to go without it. It's taking forever. Good. That's not good. That's not good. Let's do this.
Land agents will have to leave.
You want us to fit
You can fit them in?
1 second. Davin, go ahead, play now. You should have the link now. For This is Jamaica. Go ahead, play. Was it disconnected?
Viewers. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows. God knows I do. This is Jamaica.
I gave you, you know everybody.
England. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first.
I had to tell Curious, so I'll be
I
back
am
for them at
Jamaican,
about quarter to
regardless
4.
of where you may
Because she was
find
standing
me.
there for a while.
Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God to take me home.
Indeed, it is that time. It's Tuesday afternoon, just after 3:30. That means time for This is Jamaica. Peter Grace's recitation you just heard a short while ago. And we are happy to have another special guest with us. And this time it's the founder and CEO of EMYLL, Educating Men and Youth How to Lead and Live. It's an organization that focuses on the personal and professional development of individuals of all ages. And who better to tell us about it than Pete Kennedy, the founder and the CEO. Good afternoon, Pete Kennedy. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, Mr. Malcolm. Thank you very much for having me this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. You've had quite a journey so far. Care to share by giving us a synopsis of what that journey has been like and where you are right now?
Well, definitely. What I did was, I want to say my experience that changed my life, where I started to chronic and write things down in regards to leaving something, especially for my two boys, was I was in the Philippines, Mr. Malcolm, and I was there for 6 months doing a training, helping to launch one of, I would say, America's largest mobile site, who had a satellite location there in the Philippines. We were in a place called Iloilo, Philippines. Mr. Malcolm, this was in the 21st century, around 2008, 2009. And at that time, Iloilo did not have traffic lights. The buses that ran the public streets were worse than the ones that were in Jamaica. They didn't have windows. They had a piece of plastic that if the Korean fall, they would just pull a string and it came down. So I thought that I saw worst of worst coming from Jamaica and going to this I would say country. It humbled me. Here we're I went to a club and as Jamaicans, we want to see the inner city. And you come. I was born and raised in Almontown, Jamaica. So I'm a Kingsonian. So as Jamaicans, we want to see I was training, and they took me to a club, Mr. Malcolm. And a guy walked up to me and danced with me the way how we dance with each other in Jamaica as man and woman. And I wish I would see your facial expression every time I share this. Jamaican men normally give me a frown and say, because that's not our norm. We don't dance with each other. We don't hold hands. We don't kiss not in an intimate way, or in a brotherly way. There's certain love characters and behaviors that we don't do outwardly. We can't even say to another Jamaican man who doesn't understand the dynamic of love that we love him. I mean, I've told men with how much education and tell them I love them, and you would never get a response. So I stopped at that moment and I saw a group of men who I almost got into a fight with because I pushed the guy so hard. When you're under your liquor, you're not standing firm, that's going to tip you over. And I watched those guys showed so much love to themselves, Mr. Malcolm. I wanted to know at my mid-20s at that time, why did I not experience this? I'm coming from the United States and still never saw this in the United States. What am I missing? I started to do some research and saw that as men, it doesn't matter where we're from. I'm now living in the United States, travel all over the world, and I realized it doesn't matter where you're from as men. We're not taught how to love. And because we're not taught how to love, we don't know how to express, give, and also provide that love to individuals. So I started to do some research in why, especially Jamaican men, you can't say, I love you. You can't literally just hug a man genuinely and him not feel like so there is any type of whatever tendency.
But that's odd anyway, considering men are playing on a football or cricket field or any other sport, and they jump on each other and all of that. No inhibitions.
Right? That's right. So, but again, it goes back to a little bit of teaching and a little bit of guidance. So I started to do things differently in my own research and studies, and started to tell my best friends and the guys I play soccer with, I love them. And a guy, his name is Kizran Levy. Kizran Levy and I played course. We played morning cup. We grew in at the same community. And the first time I told him I loved him, I never heard this guy curse like this in his life, Mr. Malcolm. The man tell me some things. You know why? He's thinking, all right, Pete, where are you going with this? So this journey has taken me to this part now where I've written a book that has become an international bestseller, where I say The title is When a Man Loves. When we truly love, we're transparent, we're honest, we communicate. We try to do everything in our power to make sure that relationships work, especially for those around us. And really, that's where this journey has brought me here today, where I truly love my friend Peter Grace, who is my namesake, who is doing this for our young people in Jamaica specifically, to help them to really get to that next level. So I love the work. I am in tune with it. I support my brother. And hopefully when I come to the island next month, I can connect with some of those young people to support them along the way. So that's pretty much my journey and what I do.
Yes. And how did you come to connect with Peter Gracie, and how do you view the work that he is doing through his poetry competition scholarship?
The first thing I want to say is that when it comes to his work, it is needed. As a young man growing up in Jamaica, went to high school there, reading wasn't something that was fun. When you see a friend read, not even a newspaper, not even X-News, you would pick up back then and read. And I've come to understand that now, having my own master's degree, my own business and everything, reading is what have allowed me to build some relationship. Because you can share on a topic and you can understand certain things that is happening in the world, where when I was raised, reading was looked at like a punishment. You do something bad and your mother tell you, but sit down and go read a book. Where you're looking, oh, am I punished for reading? So we never liked reading. So what Peter Gracie is doing through his poetry, to write poem and to be a good poet, you got to read. Because you got to understand how to use words, and you got to understand how to use certain type of metaphor to get certain things across. And reading helps to develop that. So when I've seen him post young people, and I've actually followed and seen young people are reading this poem as if they wrote it themselves, which I did my own version of when Peter Gracie and I actually met. But I met Peter Gracie through Dr. Alan Cunningham, who is the global diaspora leader of the southern region, where I also came to the, was it People Profile? You were there, Dervan?
Yes.
You actually hosted something for Dr. Cunningham and I was there.
Yes,
I think
indeed. That was November last year in Florida, yes.
Yes, sir. So I was there, and good job to you as well with the hosting. Enjoyed myself. But so Dr. Cunningham connected me and Peter Gracie together, and that's how we met. And ever since, I've loved his work.
Well, look at it. We're going to have you back on. We're going to have a part 2 because we need to talk about the book specifically, and naturally, we'll discuss related matters some more. We're broadcasting from the Montego Bay Convention Center this afternoon, the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. And so we want to be able to give you a little more time to discuss issues pertinent to our boys in particular and young men, because they need the help. They need the additional help and support, and we want to be a part of that. So consider this the first installment. We have to do this again. Peter Gracie is going to do the arrangement. So either next week or according to your availability.
But next week I'm traveling. So
well, there you go. You see what I mean?
The following week.
Yes. Yeah,
following week I got you.
Great. So let's try and arrange that. In the meantime, though, thank you so much for adding value to this afternoon's broadcast.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and keep up the great job, Mr. Malcolm. Looking forward to meeting you in person again.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Take care. Let's send you back to the studios for Peter Grace's trademark. This is Jamaica.
This is Jamaica. This is my country. A son of this island, a daughter of this land. Fearless of fear, I stand in awe. Only love prevails, secured in God's hands. This is Jamaica, where joy cometh in the morn, surrounded by mystic waters, crashing upon the shores, where only heroes are born. Only if you knew Jamaica as well as I do, then you would utter, I love you, Jamaica. God knows I do. This is Jamaica, a simple speck in the universe. Our hearts beat and pulse in every nation, but only second to the kingdom of God. We put Jamaica first. I am Jamaican, regardless of where you may find me. Black, green, and gold is the marrow in my bones. So if I die away from my island, I pray to God
Tomorrow I'll be
you'll take
at
me
the
home.
I'll be doing emceeing duties all day for the diaspora conference.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45. National Irrigation Commission customers, you can now pay your bills online using your Visa credit card, MasterCard, or NCBP card by visiting the website www.nicjamaica.com. Select Pay Your Bill option, then follow the instructions, or visit any one of their office locations and pay using your debit card. The National Irrigation Commission Limited, irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. I'm giving my face a bit of a break from the mask. It's been on all day and I need a break. So I'm giving myself a little break right now as we continue our live coverage of the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. Is happening here inside Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in Montego Bay, the friendly city. How about that? And we have as our special guest, you know, there's something, the National Land Agency, either I'm following them around or they're following me around. Because, would you believe it? We came here and we set up our broadcast location. And then we looked across. National Land Agency, they're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. Literally and figuratively, because we're talking about land. Well, here's the lady who has the awesome task of leading the team at the National Land Agency, and she's also the Commissioner of Lands, Ms. Cherise Walcott. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Good to be speaking with you in this capacity and in this setting. We are anxious to learn about the thinking behind your presence here. It seems like a no-brainer to those of us who are familiar with what this is all about. But what does it mean for you to be, you and members of your team, to be present and involved and participating in this World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition?
Well, this conference is about investment. And all investments start with land. You set up shop physically. So we are the foundation. So we are here to showcase our services, to showcase what we have available, and to be in partnership and inroads with both private and the public sector.
And technology is a big part of what you do, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We're the home to Eland. We're now rebranding Eland, and we'll have Eland 3.0 coming out soon.
All right.
We have Jamaica for sales data, and a lot of services can be done online. And as we move towards the future, we're looking to e-titles and e-conveyancing in another 3 years.
Yes.
So we're using technology to our benefit and ensure that we always push the envelope with our services and not just rest on our laurels.
And you're not skipping a beat at all, because in the middle of this busy week, because here you are at the Montego Bay Convention Center for, is it A.I.C.E for short, for this conference. And in the middle of this week, right now, it's happening, is the Jamaica Diaspora Conference. And we know members of the diaspora are constantly looking to invest in Jamaica one way or another, to buy land and to build and so on and so forth. So you have to be at the forefront, you and the members of your team, every opportunity. These are moments of opportunity that cannot be missed.
Indeed, and it's great to have a team behind you, because we have one set here and we have another team in the diaspora. So we are both. We are doing both.
All right. So what are some of the common issues that are popping up when you set up shop, so to speak, at these conferences and venues, and you engage members of the public? What are some of the frequently asked questions, some of the common issues that you're having to help landowners and potential landowners to resolve?
It's really hard to get title for their land. A lot of persons, when they come to us, they have family land or they bought land that's not registered, and they want to know, how do I get title? They're living on property, but they can't benefit from it because there's no title. So we find we have to fill a lot of those questions. How do I apply for title? Where do I go? And we're happy to tell them that we can assist in that process, because the NLA has two new divisions, the Land Administration Management Division and Education Services. And together they assist person getting title. For the education services, we do systematic registration. So we're in the field. We come to your doorstep and we take the information from you, and through the process of adjudication, we determine the ownership of the land, and we bring our services to your doorstep. And you're part of that land title ceremony, and you've seen the success of that program, that we're able to deliver title, and you see the pride when we are able to hand someone land title.
Yes.
So one of the most common issues we have here: how do I get land? How do I get my title? Because that's what they want. They want to see their name on the piece of the rock.
Yes. And so what about there seems to be quite a demand, though, because the more people listen and watch and they see this happening, they get jealous. They want to have their piece of the rock as well. How have you been able to deal with that demand?
For a lot of our public awareness, so we're going out there. We want to ensure that we reach as wide as possible. So we do a lot of promotions. COVID kind of put a dance on our road shows. We want to start that back up again, and we going into the field to say to person, come out to us. Our LAM division, we meet with St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, and St. Catherine at the last week of every month. So we say to persons, come out and either the RADA office or the NLA regional offices, and we discuss with persons, how do I get title? So we want to, as we move forward in a post-COVID year, in a post-COVID
we hope we get there sooner than later.
we want to push our promotions of our services, and we want to bring our town, we want to bring back our road shows. Say to persons, come to us. If you have land matters, don't sit here. I say to person, let this be the year you start. Let's get those titles out.
Right, indeed. And so far, so good, and a lot of support, no doubt, based on the kind of work that you've been doing so far. But the technology also helps, so that not only those right here in Jamaica, and even those in Jamaica, we still use the technology anyway, but the fact that those across the globe, not least of all members of the diaspora, are able to tap in and check up on a piece of land here and there, because, and get the...
With our e-land services, you can go online and get a copy of the title, download a copy of the title, and as we want to push technology further, where you can actually do your e-conveyance online, which is in another 3 years with e-titles. We're not there yet. We still require paper titles coming in, paper documents coming in. We want to push in the next 3 years where you're able to go online and submit your documents online, and everything's done electronic. So we have an electronic title, there's no paper. We want to ensure that we can have a paperless title office.
All right. We definitely look forward to that. And what can you tell us? I see you have a couple of. I know of the Elan Jamaica. Just tell our listeners how that works, please.
It's a subscription-based service where you can go online
Mhm.
and download and pay for a copy of a registered title, copy of a plan, and some different transactions. Like a caveat or transfer, so you can go online and pay for it, and you can see a copy of what the title looks like. The persons who just want to see a copy of their title, they can go online. Or if you're searching for property, you can use the valuation number to pick up whether there's a title existing or not.
Right.
So right now we are rebuilding the system and we're rebranding the Elan 3.0.
Mhm.
So within another 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be coming out with that. We'll be putting Elan back up with the new and better version of Elan.
Right. And in summary, tell our listeners about Jampro.
Jump up is our sales data. So it really benefits for the real estate dealers. They will get sales data to see what's the benchmark when you're pricing property.
Mhm.
So they're able to subscribe to it.
Mhm.
And you have historical data that you get. I will tell you in a specific geographical location, this is what properties are sold for. So you're able to gauge, is this a good price, what I'm being asked to pay for.
Right. Mhm. And of course, you did speak about systematic
Yes, this is our
land.
flagship, and we're
Mhm.
so proud of it because we realized over decades that people weren't getting titles. They were
Mhm.
applying for titles and they weren't successful because we don't document a lot in Jamaica. This person will
True.
own land, and they know they own the land, but when asked to prove it legally, they didn't have that documentation to show that. So we saw that the law had to be adjusted to meet the cultural needs, and systematic was a way to go. Where we go into the field, we are the ones educated, and we have a community involved because we are in the community. We basically go there 2 3 weeks.
That's
We
what I
are meeting-
realized. I thought.
But it works
Mhm.
because the community is involved in it. So when we do determine who are the owner, the community is already waiting on it.
Yes.
So you don't have persons fighting as much because they're involved in the process of adjudicating that ownership of property.
For those listening who are excited and tantalized by the opportunity to own their own piece of the rock, what's the first step you think they need to take at this stage? Those who are listening.
Or it. Contact us. If you have land and you don't have title, contact us and we'll assist you give you information. Go on our website and download some of our information that we have there. If you're looking to buy a property and the land is registered, do your search with us first. Just ensure that the title that's been presented to you reflects our original title in office as well. So you want to do your research. We have a lot of information on our website. Visit it, go through. Contact us. We have our web chats. We have our Q&A systems. You can always contact the Office of Titles on different divisions within the NLA to get information. And we have so much information on our website. Go there first and then contact us, and we're going to sit with you and go through and guide you as to how do I get my title registered, my land registered, or how do I buy land.
Mhm. And it shouldn't matter wherever in Jamaica I
No, it
am,
doesn't.
right?
No, it
Mhm.
doesn't.
Okay.
You can go and you can have the web chats,
Mhm.
and we'll guide you. We'll put in touch with persons who can assist you
Yeah.
in getting your titles.
Excellent. We could talk all afternoon, but we're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All the best.
All right, take care.
Okay, you too. That's Sharice Walcott, the CEO of the National Land Agency and the Commissioner of Lands. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Thanks to the team from National Land Agency. And we continue and anxious to move to sharing lots more with you. We still have some ground to cover. Listeners, if you're just tuning in, good to have you on board. Inez Ayona Campbell, we see you online. Thank you very much for tuning in and being a part of the experience. And hello to Roy Main Robinson as well, who is online. Eunice Beckford says, Dervan, until we see it happen, then we can have a convo. Let's see what the 23rd will bring. And that's in reference to the urban center, the development work for that urban center in Morant Bay, St. Thomas. We're continuing our broadcast here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Who is coming next? Punchinella Little Fellow. That's a song we used to sing. Manpower? Sure, let's have them. By all means. Need another chair? Sure. I'm sure we can borrow that one from the free trade zone and put it back in a little while. And so this is an organization we have watched grow and grow and grow, and it is still growing because such is the energy of the magnet behind manpower. And they're more than that. I mean, even saying manpower and maintenance services, I'm thinking, hold on, let me try and remember the other arms and divisions and sections, etc., etc. So, with me right now, I know him, but we haven't seen him since before COVID. Well, I haven't. So I need to remind myself. Hmm. Ahijah. Ahijah Brown, Director Facilities Management at Manpower and Maintenance Services, teaming up with Nicole Lindsay, Project Officer. Well, it's ladies first, right, Mr. Brown? So Nicole Lindsay is going to get the first word. Good afternoon, Nicole Lindsay. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sir Dervan. I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I am doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's say hello now to the Director of Facilities Management, Ahijah Brown. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I am doing well, thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so that's fine. You can share the microphone. Might be a little easier for you both there. So let's get going. Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Studio is musicking me off the air because it's time for the break. It's 4 o'clock. Let's take the break.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
Your taxes hold key.
Tax Administration Jamaica presents Make We Talk Tax, Wednesdays at 3:15 p.m. on both sides of the story, a program that educates and informs taxpayers of the various payment options and services available at Tax Administration Jamaica and the ease of doing business. Make We Talk Tax is a production of Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune Active Dent, a combination of two active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship and to serve.
Used to give a lot of trouble.
Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature of physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Let's go, studio. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. It's the 8th World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition, A.I.C.E for short, and it's happening here inside Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But as I keep saying, for marketing purposes, we are in Montego Bay. And so we have two team members from Manpower and Maintenance Services. The Manpower Group. It's a group, isn't it? Yes. And so we have Ahijah Brown, Director of Facilities Management, and Nicole Lindsay, Project Officer. And so let's find out from you, Ahijah Brown, about this business of facilities management. It sounds like you have a lot to manage.
Yes, indeed, we do. So this is the major arm of the organization. This is where Manpower started. So it branched out into the janitorial services that we are known for, which we have grown so much more into now, where we provided janitorial, grounds and landscaping, pest control, among other services. So a lot of these other arms or companies out of Manpower actually started in facilities management.
Oh, I see.
And then now, because you are growing and growing and growing, project after project after project, so you have to have a project officer who is Nicole Lindsay, right, Nicole?
Yes, indeed, Dervan. Thanks for having me again.
It's a pleasure. Go ahead.
Okay, so our portfolio responsibility, we, as you know, it's a group of companies. So what we have as a subsidiary of the main company, Manpower, we have what you call the Manpower and Maintenance Business Services Limited. So primarily, the arm that I have portfolio responsibility for is the human resource outsourcing, or for short, labor management, where what we do is manage certain categories of work on behalf of clients, right? So, and we manage the aspect, what we do is manage whether it be for administration, vacation leave, sick leave, we do payroll.
How many people are we talking here?
Oh, currently we are looking at approximately 200 staff that we manage currently. Of course, prior to COVID, we were looking at probably 300, but as you know, with COVID, you know,
Adjustments here and there.
Right. So that's what we do for various clients, from the food industry, the production workers, a whole host. That's what we do. We manage, and it's our capacity to be able to provide a human resource even at short notice. That's one of our strengths. So when we have our clients call at short notice, especially during the peak time, whether it be at Christmas and Independence and Easter, and our clients would reach out to us to provide human resource sourcing. So we do everything from recruitment, we train because we work closely with our training arm, which is also a subsidiary of Manpower I.W.E.D. and stuff, to be able to meet our clients' needs, and that's what we do this. That's why we are who we are, Manpower.
That's right, and that's why you had to be here, Ahijah Brown, as Director of Facilities Management. Why was it important for the Manpower Group to be represented at this World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition?
Well, we are 32 years. It tells you the wealth of experience that we have in terms of facilities management. And every organization here is involved in facilities. They will have facilities that needs to be managed. They will have janitorial services. They may have pest control management services. You may have landscaping, grounds, whatever it is, branching off into HRO, human resource outsourcing. Likewise, training from our Institute for Workforce Education and Development. So we are integral in what most of these individuals do. So Manpower, 32 years of experience, we are growing, and we grow and assist persons to focus on their core while we take care of the other aspects for you.
I see. And for you, Nicole Lindsay, I mean, what has your area been like, considering the ebbs and flows since
Alright.
COVID-19?
Okay, so Dervan, as you know, when it comes on to the human resource, it's not the easiest thing to handle, right? Managing behaviors, etc. It can be very tedious. You understand? And so, of course, we have to develop strategies in understanding and learning how to deal with the human being, because not one size fits all.
That's
You
right.
understand? So it can be tedious, but we're always up to the task in terms of understanding our clients, understanding we have to do strategic recruitment because not all our clients have the same needs. So we have to understand the market and know how it is.
So it's
to
not just
strategically-
whosoever will make
No,
up.
we have to strategically recruit to ensure that we get the best fit for our clients.
Yes.
Because that's what matters most. Ensure that our clients, our needs are met. And as Mr. Brown indicated, that our focus is to ensure that our clients focus on their primary area. So we, the HRO arm, we take away from them the daily hassle of worrying about disciplinary issues, leave, administration, payroll, etc., for them to be able to focus on their core function, which is to produce.
Right, so they enjoy a level of peace of mind, so
Definitely.
they can focus
Definitely.
on the task at hand. That makes sense. And so for you now, Ahijah Brown, in terms of your interactions with people from all over the world, about 100 different languages, I'm told, spoken here. What has that experience and exposure been like for you and the team from Manpower Group?
Well, it has been wonderful, and helps to reinforce how important manpower is, how important the services that we are growing into and the expansion that we are going on with is. Because currently we are moving into sales and distribution. And all the products that we use to provide the service, we are making them now available to our clients, available to persons who will be interested in using these. So do it yourselfers, you can get the products, you can learn how to use them, all of these kind of things. So the continuous growth is excellent. This was something wonderfully put together. We are having a good time. We are meeting a lot of persons, and it is really something awesome.
Excellent. And so the word now, from your standpoint, Nicole, Lindsay, for those listening to us, they love the work being done by Manpower Group, and they're impressed, in terms of how the group has been serving Jamaica and Jamaicans. I dare say, I'm tempted to say abroad as well. But who knows? Maybe in the future you'll be going exploring the rest of the region.
Yes, actually, we do some form of collaboration with international partners as well. So it's not just a local initiative, but as I said, overseas initiative as well.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
And so for those then who have this, they want to know more. They want to know what, uh, how they can, how your group can help them and how they can help you.
Well,
What approach should they take in making that connection?
first step, everybody know who Manpower is, right? And they know who the head of our organization is. Powerful woman.
Indeed, she is.
Right. So we're more than happy to invite them to visit our website. Feel free to call our office, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, to call our offices for information. Once they call, and this is the service that it is that they require, just ask to be put through to the human resource outsourcing department, and then we're more than happy to give them whatever information it is that they need.
That's right. So is it everything under one roof in terms of your entire group? You want to take
It's a group of companies with different arms.
Okay.
So Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group is the parent company for all the different companies that falls underneath, the subsidiaries that fall underneath. And just to say, we are also coming up with our clean store.
Okay.
Yes, so our clean store will be our latest launch in terms of what we're doing. We'll be located in Jacksall, right? So Marmy Bay, that new setting up there that is happening. We will have the Manpower Clean Store. And this is where households, businesses can come and get all the products that we provide and that we produce. So it is going to be, we are looking for greater things. This is where it is happening with this special economic zone, this world free zone. It has brought forth opportunities, and it is wonderful, it is timely, it is right where we are to meet it. So that is why Manpower is here.
Well done.
And if I may say, just to let the public know that Manpower, we're not just situated at One Eureka Road in Crossroads, but we have branch offices in Montego Bay, Mandeville, and
Also Jamaican expression spread out.
That's right. So we have our clients island-wide. So we're not
Excellent.
limited.
Not at all. No limits here. Thank you both so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
All the best.
All the best.
Oh, you said that in unison. My goodness.
We are united.
Isn't that something?
we work as a team.
It shows. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care, listeners. You just heard from Ahijah Brown, Director of Facilities Management, and Nicole Lindsay, Project Officer, both a part of the Manpower Group of companies. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. It's been a very hectic schedule, and we want to would like to thank the team for their patience. There are so many different areas to cover. And right now it looks like, hi, is this Dania?
Yes, it is.
Dania Ashpool.
Yes, you're correct.
Oh, wonderful. Interim CEO of CLA.
The Cannabis Licensing Authority.
But of course, where else? It's good to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Great, wonderful. So let's get straight to it. What interest does the Cannabis Licensing Authority have in this World Free Zones Organization annual international conference and exhibition right here in our backyard in the biggest little country in the world?
Well, you see, at the crux of free zones and special economic zone is trade. And if you're serious about any business, you must be interested in trade.
Absolutely.
I think the minister, Senator Hill, mentioned that we are not going to get rich selling to 3 million people. And we have in the Cannabis Licensing Authority approved over 180 export authorization of medicinal cannabis.
I had no idea.
Yes.
More than 100.
More than 100 since its inception. And we're looking, and a large part of that, over 50%, is in last financial year into this financial year. And so we're seeing where there's greater demand for Jamaican medicinal cannabis. You know, we've often spoken about the properties and the healing properties of it, and other countries are demanding it. We hope to expand that and find the linkages to allow for that expansion to take place.
Indeed. Hold it right there. Studio telling me it's time for a break. Let's take the break and come back.
Get high quality blinds and beautiful windows, drapes, and wooden flooring from Sam the Blind Man, 40 Barnett Street, Montego Bay. The time by Sam the Blind Man is 4:15. Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean,
that was in the
providing
news
medical care for function and performance
ago.
in
There was some
association with
talk
Winchester
about,
MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. Immune active dent, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to praise, to worship and to serve, presents Rehabilitation
That's
Now,
right.
a 30-minute feature on
That was
physical
in the
medicine
past.
and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and
No, but seriously though, this
Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday.
that's a lot of work because it's
5:30
still
to 6 p.m.
relatively
on
within
Power
a relative
106.
short
Free your
time.
body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation JAMPRO, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
Let's go, studio. Let's go. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在几点了？4点16分。16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Time just changed. It's now 17 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here inside Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. But for marketing purposes, we're in Montego Bay. Can you tell? Right, we're covering this is day 2 of 3 of the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. And we've been learning quite a lot. In fact, we have as our guest right now, interim CEO of the Cannabis Licensing Authority, Dania Ashpole, who has been giving us some insights into how the organization has been operating so far. For those who think that it is not yet off the ground, clearly, from what we're hearing, both off-air and on-air, Dania Ashpole, you hit the ground running from the get-go.
Yes, and we would have facilitated, as I would have said before, over 180 exports from Jamaica. We hope to grow that number, but that will require on creating the linkages with the standards organization, the Bureau of Standards, ensuring that there's proper testing facility so that the quality of the medicinal cannabis coming from Jamaica, when it enters the import market, it's something that is accepted and there is demand for even more. We are looking also at value added and processed cannabis and having those opportunities expand into value-added goods. We want to grow that sector particularly, and we're looking at what are the linkages, what are the organizations we need to partner with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to ensure that there's a market for nutraceuticals, cannabis nutraceuticals, cannabis topicals, and so on and so forth.
Topicals would be like
Lotions and that sort of thing, and expanding that market so that we can expand how people consume the product. Both for medicinal purposes, as we've always known.
In fact, you have quite a number of outlets that are already up and running for some time now here, and they seem to be operating how they should. I mean, not in your face, just serving the clients as they come in, that kind of thing. So it does speak to the quality of the the management of the operators and how they treat with a high level of regard and respect and integrity what they're doing.
Indeed. And you know, one of our main role is to ensure that whilst we ensure that there's growth locally, we ensure that we adhere to the international conventions, because I think the worst thing that can happen is that we build out this industry and we're blacklisted, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
And
Can't afford that.
again, we can't get rich selling to ourselves. And so that is a risk that we are balancing whilst we develop the local industry and ensure that there is an inclusive regime for persons who want to get in any shape or form. We have to ensure that when it's go time, because again, it's not a if, it's a when.
Yes. I'll give you better, as my late mother would say, and a something a go, a something a come.
I agree, and we'd have seen even more stringent jurisdiction loosening up on cannabis, and so we want to be ready when the world opens up. Of course, there are certain international regimes, particularly
you have
in
to
the
be
US,
mindful of. Yes.
that thwart in some instances the expansion of the local industry, particularly as it relates to banking. But we're looking at when those regimes soften, how can we now take advantage of that and just being ready for that.
Indeed. So, as it is right now, if you could summarize where the Cannabis Licensing Authority is now and where you are working towards getting to, in summary, can you?
What I would say, as my chairman would say, is we're at cannabis, we're CLA 2.0.
Okay.
So we have made the regulations, we have all the stringent measures to ensure that we're compliant. But now what we want to get into is ensuring that there's efficiency in our operation. So we're focusing on efficiency. No longer will you hear I've submitted my application. So we're managing that process and ensuring that operationally there's a seamless process from application to issuance, or to decision rather. And the next thing I would say is more lobbying and partnerships to ensure that we get into the value-added aspect of the cannabis industry. Those are the two things that I think we're focused on, and we are, I would say, very strident, moving very stridently in getting this done.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I'm sure we're going to have reason to speak with you again in the very near future, because you're in one of the happening sectors right now.
Too much happening, but we welcome the attention.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Good. Take care. Dania Ashpole, Interim CEO of the Cannabis Licensing Authority, the CLA, speaking with us here on location in Exhibition Hall C of the Montego Bay Convention Center. Well done. And right now we are going to speak with our friends from the Jamaica Public Service Company. Ramsey McDonald is, let's see,
Senior VP Customer Service.
Senior Vice President Customer Service at the Jamaica Public Service Company. And this microphone is yours, Mr. McDonald. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Thank you very much, Dervan. I'm doing quite well. Happy to be here this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. I know.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to see why the JPS would have an interest and would want to be represented at this the 8th World Free Zones Organization annual international conference and exhibition. I wonder if you could spell it out a bit for us. Why have you placed so much premium on being here at this conference, as far as the Jamaica Public Service Company is concerned?
So first and foremost, we'd like to just say it's a pleasure being here at the conference this year, and it gives us a great opportunity to demonstrate clearly to our business partners that we are supporters of driving productivity in Jamaica. Through these economical zones, we have the opportunity to create greater efficiency and create a more competitive marketplace for our businesses. And so we are demonstrating that we're here and we're at the center of everything that is good and positive happening here in this country, and that JPS are the partners who will help to provide and enable the growth and development of many of our businesses going forward.
And clearly, you have to be ahead of the curve, as they say, because you can't afford to be playing catch up.
Exactly. And so it's important, as the government has moved forward in creating these zones, that we know exactly where they're going to be so that we can put in place the necessary power requirements in order to drive these businesses and to enable them to come on quickly and be as competitive as possible from the outset.
Yes. And so, what has your interaction been like? Not just with the visitors from all over the world, about 100 different languages,
Yes.
I'm told, but also those enterprises, those organizations, those institutions that are already here in Jamaica. What's the mood? What's the feeling? What has that kind of interaction and engagement been like so far?
Well, one of the first interactions was with the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority. We had an opportunity to have some very fruitful discussions with them in getting some idea as to where we're going to be building out these economic zones, and therefore then being able to prepare and ensure that we have the infrastructure in place to assist them in transitioning the various businesses. And this morning, the Prime Minister spoke about getting K-Manners up and running. And so we're looking forward to working closely with them on that project, because I can see very positive things coming out of that. And the growth potential is fantastic. We also had an opportunity to speak to the economic zone authorities from the Dubai, who gave some very insightful tips as to how to develop and how to build out the infrastructure. And so again, we'll be using some of that information and the connections that we've developed with them to help to build out what is to come in K-Manners. And looking forward to great success, because one of the things as a nation we need to continue to do is to build on the opportunities that are presented to us, but also move very quickly to make it putting in the fruition. And the Prime Minister again pointed out in his speech this morning, it's been over 10 years in the making, and we need to make that a reality. So JPS plans to be at the center of making it a reality as we look forward to move forward.
Yes. And with that, of course, as we touched on briefly earlier on, is just looking at ways and means to diversify the operations, for example, and to be able to provide an efficient service.
Exactly. And we have our challenges, but I think one of the key things as an organization, we recognize that we are the enablers of a number of things that happen here in this country, and therefore we have to be partners with business in order to ensure that they fully realize their potential going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good to see the Jamaica Public Service Company represented. I mean, we need you.
And we're happy to be here, and we recognize we need
each other.
We need each other. We
Yeah.
need each other. And so, we continue with this partnership. Key thing here is ensuring that we're ahead, we're proactive. And so what I encourage our business partners is simply ensure that we're fully aware of what's happening in your future, right? So that we can plan for that and ensure that the transition to the new state is as seamless as possible, and that we can continue to meet your demands. We're in a situation right now from a logistics standpoint, the challenges that are out there with, the war in the Russia and Ukraine, the various challenges in terms of moving goods around the world. And so therefore we need to have clear advance notice of what the plans are so that we can put the material in place to meet those demands.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, your presence here uh, does make a difference, and it gives those of us looking on a sense of assurance that the Jamaica Public Service Company is not just resting on its laurels, but clearly looking to lead in your area of specialization to ensure that when the country says JPS, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
You're ready.
We're ready. And that's the whole idea.
Excellent. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Mr.
very much,
McDonald.
Dervan.
All the best.
Thank you.
Good.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Ramsey McDonald of the Jamaica Public Service Company speaking with us here at the Montego Bay Convention Center on this day 2 of 3 of the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. Are you hoping to take a photo? You just need to say the word. I'll just pose. How about that? Let's take the break in the meantime.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Right. So I'll just pretend as this is the actual interview. You have enough? You're good? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. No problem. Anytime. You too. Right.
We're talking just for being dancehall.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you.
We discuss it.
It's from LA.
So join us Saturday at 10 a.m. and 4 and 6:30.
Oh, are you?
No, don't sit there.
10 seconds. So for the youths, 5.
Your health is key to your wealth. Suffering from muscle, joint, neck, back, and other pain? The Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance in association with Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for
But she did the
MRI
right
imaging.
thing. She
The new
wanted you to be a
active
little
dent,
closer
a
to me.
combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. And Almighty Studios, a recording studio where they create worship music to
Okay,
praise,
boss.
to worship and to serve, presents Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for people overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with host Alicia Taylor and rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson airs every Thursday, 5:30 to 6 p.m. on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual International Conference and Exhibition during both sides of the story is brought to you by Jamaica Promotions Corporation Jampro, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, Jamaica Customs Agency, and Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority.
I'm so sorry. So it's Shellyan Horton beside you, Manager Seaboard, and Eulalie Thompson.
Manager Seaboard, right, right. Okay, so you can own those microphones in the meantime. Let's go studio. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5h moins 28. 现在几点了？5点加20分. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at, almost said Broadcast House, no, at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people, and parents and guardians. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to say hello, good afternoon, And welcome to our guests in this segment. Manager Seaboard Warehouse and Free Zone Operations Montego Bay with the Jamaica Customs Agency, Shelly-Ann Horton, right beside me. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Dervan.
Wonderful. Good to have you on board. We also have with us Manager Post Clearance Audit, Montego Bay, Jamaica Customs Agency, Eula Lee Thompson. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Let's get the ball rolling, Shelly-Ann Horton. Tell us how, from your vantage point as Manager Seaboard Warehouse and Free Zone Operations for Montego Bay, as far as Jamaica Customs Agency is concerned, what does all this excitement at the Montego Bay Convention Center mean to you and your team?
Well, Dervan, as you know, for the free zone, everything that is imported to the free zone area is free of customs duties. And we are basically the agency that monitors all the goods which go into the free zone and the goods that will come out of the free zone, whether it is being consumed into the domestic market or it's being exported, or if it's considered waste and it's going to be dumped, all of that. So yes, we are an integral part of this
Critical,
process.
yes. Absolutely. And so then, in terms of post-clearance audit, that's one aspect of your duties at Jamaica Customs. Not you specifically, necessarily Eula Lee, but just generally speaking.
Yes, so post clearance auditing is a concept that came about in order to facilitate trade. So it involves the auditing of the books and records of importers after they have cleared goods for customs, so it's for commercial purposes, that is. So our unit is tasked with performing that function.
Let me see if I can figure that out. So that's just to make sure that nothing fell through the cracks.
For the most part,
As
yes.
much as possible.
Yes. So we look at valuation issues to ensure that importer declared the correct value. We also look at incentives to ensure that whatever they got under the incentives that they were used for that specific purpose. So we look at end use of goods. And also the special economic zones. There are different acts, but we would administer post clearance audits to ensure that whatever was imported into those zones have been used for the purposes and are properly accounted for.
Right. Right. So let's see if we can spell it out a little more, Shelly-Ann. What is meant by free zone for those who are thinking of the days of the 807 garment manufacturing down at Bell Road Industrial Estate? It's a different world now. It's a different world. So speak to us on what is meant by free zone and how does it work here in Jamaica from your vantage point as the manager, Seaboard Warehouse and Free Zone Operations in Montego Bay.
Well, a free zone is basically a geographical area in which tax benefits and fiscal incentives are provided by the government to businesses within a specific.
Right. So that's a sterile environment in a manner of speaking.
It is.
It can't just put any and anything or any. It has to be. It has to meet the standards and the protocols and so on.
Exactly.
Mhm. And what can you tell us then in terms of how we're doing in Jamaica? I mean, are you being overwhelmed yet in terms of the demand for your monitoring and general governance services?
Well, I'm not feeling overwhelmed.
Okay.
But Jamaica Customs will put the necessary infrastructure in place. We will find the necessary human resources in order to do whatever monitoring or facilitation of trade as needed or
Okay.
required.
So, what are my obligations then, if as an importer and who is a part of the free zone? What do I need to be mindful of, Eula Lee?
Okay, so as I had kind of started
Don't
earlier
worry
by
about it.
saying,
The R in I like to say the R in radio is for repetition, and the experts say repetition is the greatest form of pedagogy. So don't worry
okay,
about it.
yes, so Free zone entities, like any other commercial importer, is required. They are required to maintain proper books and records in relation to items imported, and in cases where they have inventory, they're required to have those in place also and have them ready, including documents for inspection whenever customs requires the same. So they are supposed to have proper documentation in place and accountability of goods. And customs recently, well, Jamaica recently acceded to the revised Kyoto Convention. That's last year, and it's an international convention on the harmonization and simplification of customs procedure. So it looks at nations that have acceded to that convention. They are looking at simplifying customs procedure across those nations. So it's, if you're coming from another country to Jamaica, the procedures are similar. So in even though we haven't adopted the free zone specific annex as yet, we've adopted the general annex, but we try to align our practices to those that are set out in the revised Kyoto Convention. So looking at data, digitalization of information, so customs has access to that, so it can be integrated in our system for better tracking and accountability of items in the free zones.
Thank you, Eulalie. So in terms of the benefits, it's not a one-way street, is it? There are the benefits of being a part of the free zone, for instance. Michelle, what are those benefits for emphasis?
Well, as it relates to the free zone operator,
Yes.
they are, as I alluded to earlier, there is no customs duty, there is no GCT. They are also provided for as it relates to income tax,
Okay.
property tax, transfer tax. Those are
So
all,
here's the question.
all
No.
those rates are
So what do we get? What
Sorry.
does the country get from giving all those
It boosts,
concessions?
actually boosts our economy, and you find that they employ a lot of persons.
Okay, that's a key.
Yes,
That makes
employment.
sense. That makes sense. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And of course, as it relates to our local businesses, they do purchase goods and services.
Oh, so they can purchase outside of the free zone, as long because those would be considered linkages.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
And of course, they use our services.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that is definitely good for us.
Right. So they use your services, so they have to pay.
Of course, JPS, they have to pay for lights, they have to pay for water.
Oh, you mean the general?
Yes,
I thought
yes,
you were referring to custom services.
No, we are basically providing
A service on behalf of the state.
Yes.
Mhm.
But as it relates to the water, the lights,
Right.
and all of those
Understood.
goods and services, then we are definitely, as a country, we are benefiting from those.
Okay, right. And so, what mechanisms does Jamaica Customs have in place to ensure that the imports are compliant? Is it what you said earlier on in terms of the post clearance? Would that be an example?
So that's one mechanism, and then Shelley's unit would monitor operations of free zone. So we would go, or our process would be a more in-depth look at what they are doing in terms of looking at their operations along with their books and records. Shelley's unit would more do monitoring, which is a smaller aspect in terms of it's not as intense.
I wouldn't consider it small. We monitor on a day-to-day basis. So all the goods that are going into the free zone, yes, or we have to do full examination on those goods. So whatever it is that they have declared to customs, we ensure that those goods are going in. If for whatever reason they are taking out goods, we ensure that those goods are what they say they are, and they were actually entered for to exporting or for consumption on the domestic market.
Yes.
And we work together, our units.
I can
work
feel the
together.
energy and the synergy.
We work together for a lot of the operations within the free zone entities. So.
Excellent. So, how can people learn more about the special economic zone? That information is on your website at Jamaica Customs necessarily?
There is some information on our website, but if you really want to know about the special economic zones, you may go on the JC's website,
Okay.
and there's
That's
a
a
section there,
Jamaica.
Special Economic Zones Authority, their website, and there is a lot of information there. There's a section that speaks to frequently asked questions.
Okay.
So, someone who wants to know exactly what is required, the benefits that are given, all of those things, they can find them right there.
And they also have a business unit that deals with persons who want to set up an entity in a free zone. So that unit is specific for supplying information and assisting companies that wish to set up operations in a free zone.
Excellent. I could talk with you ladies all afternoon. You're just so easy. Easy like Sunday morning. You know your stuff. Thank you both so much for sharing with us on this afternoon's edition of Both Sides of the Story on Power 106. Well done.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a
Have a
pleasure.
great evening.
You too. Take care. Listeners, you, 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 you just heard from Shelly Ann Horton, Manager Seaboard Warehouse and Free Zone Operations, Montego Bay with Jamaica Customs, and Eula Lee Thompson, Manager Post Clearance Audit, Montego Bay, Jamaica Customs. There's more after the break.
You're
How are
listening
you?
to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Oh, yes. Usually we don't tell the ladies because then the ladies go, oh my God.
Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica Limited has all the answers for your farming needs. Tune in every Wednesday during Farm Talk for the feature Farming Today, as we educate you on how to farm smarter. That's Farming Today, every Wednesday during Farm Talk, 6:18 to 6:45 a.m.
Cornella.
Brought to you by Caribbean
So is
Chemicals
that's not
Jamaica
an I?
Limited, 2 East National Road, Kingston.
Oh, well, I would have said Cornella had I seen another.
Today's
L.
broadcast from the World Free Zone
Cornella
Organization's
Allardyce.
annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story.
Allardyce. Relationship manager with NCB Corporate Banking. All right. We have a couple of focus areas here. Good. Stand by. Let's go, studio. ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 14. 现在几点了？5点加14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at the Montego Bay Convention Center, Exhibition Hall C to be precise. It's the World Free Zones Organization Annual International Conference and Exhibition. And it's day 2 of 3, and we're delighted to be joined by relationship manager with NCB Corporate Banking, because all of this board, both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM, surely you go to different events and seminars and workshops and expos, etc. This one is a little different, isn't it? Why was it necessary for NCB to be represented at this World Free Zones Organization conference?
We were very excited to be a part of it once we heard that they would be having the first staging in Jamaica. The fact is, I mean, the PM this morning in his address as he opened the conference mentioned that Jamaica is open for business. And NCB wants to make that same statement. We're open for business for all entities wishing to establish special economic zones in Jamaica, and even those businesses wishing to provide support services to them. Our corporate banking team has a range of receivables management, payables, and financing solutions, and we want to be your financial partner on this next level of endeavors for your business.
I see what you mean. And of course, we know that you can support, your capacity is such that you can support from the very small to the very large, correct?
Definitely. So within NCB, we have a range of business teams that support our business customers. So we have our SME team, our commercial team. The team I represent is our corporate banking team. A lot of the entities here today would possibly fall within corporate banking, and we're just here to provide you with a range of support services today.
And I know this is the age when a bank is funding or financing any development. You see a sign that goes up because that's a part of the marketing. It's saying, hey, this is an example of a real development, a real business, a real enterprise that we're supporting.
Definitely. We have been supporting infrastructure developments across the island. I mean, for years. It's something that we're very proud of. We're proud to have our signage there showing that we're supporting national development. One of your earlier guests, we're very proud to be working with the Morambe Urban Center in this major development that they're doing as financiers.
So that's where they're getting the money from.
Yes, we're very happy. And the amazing thing about this is that we have supported them not just from the bank, but we have our NCB Capital Markets, Stratus, so the entire value chain within NCB. We've been able to support them using various entities. That's the strength of the NCB Financial.
Very impressive. And so now, for when you close these deals, you don't just sign off on them and that's it. It then becomes a relationship. It doesn't end there, does it?
It doesn't. It doesn't. We supporting our customers through their entire business growth, the entire phase of their development, and which is why we have our SME customers to support them. We have commercial. We want to be there to grow with your business, as your business grows.
Yes.
And really, even as we come out of the pandemic, it's been very critical for us to have supported our customers during the pandemic. I'd love to share that in 2021, NCB financed 75% of all business loans within Jamaica.
No, I've never heard that before. No, that's big.
Yes, so we stood by our customers in the most difficult time of their businesses to ensure that whether they needed support for working capital, because potentially those of our customers, especially within the tourism sector that would have been so impacted,
Oh, yes.
we wanted to ensure that once the tourism sector reopened, they were able to be open to support their customers. And whether our customers have been in agro-processing or construction, we were there with them last year and we continue to be there with them. We'll support your developments, your expansion goals, but we'll be there to support your employees. As long as you're there and your business is thriving, we want to be there as your financial partner.
Yes. You should play up the 75% a little more, though. Goodness, that's significant.
It has been. And in a space where we have 40% of the market share, to have been able to lend 75% of all loans, it showed that we really were committed, to just being there for our customers. It wasn't the easiest time to be lending, but we're very happy that our customers whose businesses needed the help at that point in time were able to rely on us.
Excellent. And that's what it's all about. That's why it's a relationship.
It is.
You're the relationship manager with NCB. And you
not transactional.
Yes, no.
It's all about being with you through the entire life cycle of your business.
Makes sense. 55% of all loans in Jamaica during 2021, business loans funded by NCB. Well done. Well done. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story. Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And what a day it has been so far as we get ready to wrap. But just to give you an idea, for those who would like, if you missed Monday and you are missing Tuesday and you're thinking, you know what, we need to go on Wednesday, we want to give you an idea of what to expect on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. So tomorrow the exhibition will open at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then there's a presentation of investment opportunities in Jamaica. JAMPRO will be doing that presentation. Make a note of it. That's going to be in halls D1 and D2. The exhibition will open in, and then we have the panel 9:30 to 10:30, reforming the global tax system. Whoa, that's a big one. Reforming the global tax system. Now, we're loving these topics already. The presentation on investment opportunities in Jamaica by JamPro, 9 to 9:30. Then reforming the global tax system, the panel discussion, 9:30 to 10:30. Then there's a launch announcement at 10:30 tomorrow morning. Coffee break and networking will ensue. Then there's another panel discussion, ecosystems of trust, driving prosperity. Ecosystems of trust, driving prosperity. Then another launch announcement at 12:30, then lunch, then the General Assembly of the World Free Zones Organization, and that's members only at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That will run for a couple of hours, and then also running concurrently a meeting of government authorities promoting the new generation of free zones for sustainable development. Meeting of government authorities promoting the new generation of free zones for sustainable development. And then also, and this is running at the same time too, concurrently, Regional Ministers of Tourism Summit 2022. Regional Ministers of Tourism Summit 2022. We have no doubt the Honorable Ed Bartlett will be there. Building resilience for global sustainability, accelerating recovery and prosperity. So these are concurrent mega meetings. Regional Ministers of Tourism Summit 2022, Building Resilience for Global Sustainability, Accelerating Recovery and Prosperity. Then there'll be another coffee break, and then government authorities and regional ministerial outcome presentation to follow. Government authorities and regional ministerial outcome presentation at 4:30. Then come 5 o'clock, closing ceremony at 5. 6:30, departing hotels for Blue Water Beach Park. And then at 7 o'clock in the evening, link up on the beach. This is so Jamaican. A cultural night experience by the beach. And then, of course, 9 o'clock, the delegates and participants will depart Blue Water Beach Park for their respective hotels. That's all going to be happening. But hold on, there's more. Because although I was saying tomorrow, I was giving you the impression that tomorrow would be it. Not quite, because Thursday from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock, business to business meetings. So all those who interacted with and engaged individuals from across the globe will now sit down to talk business in detail, B2B. So business to business meetings plus tours of Jamaica's investment opportunities, special economic zones and attractions. All of that will be happening on Thursday. And then on Friday from 9 to 3, business to business meetings again, B2B meetings and tours of Jamaica's investment opportunities. This one is a must, so that you get a direct a direct look and feel of whatever the investment is and the environment is, etc. So this is big. This is big. Listeners, if you need more information, go to AICE2022.com. AICE2022.com. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 14th of June, 2022. We thank our producer on location, Colleen Douglas. Thank you very much. She's known as the boss, so I hear. And thanks to Lorna Lewis and the Kemar Edwards, Lorna Lewis and Kemar Edwards for coordinating sponsorship on this broadcast. Thanks to Richard Flowers our broadcast engineer on location here at the Montego Bay Convention Center in Rose Hall, St. James. Thanks to all our guests and indeed to you, our faithful listeners and viewers all over the globe, for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon. Jesse Blake will be doing duties tomorrow afternoon and will be live from the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, which I will be hosting tomorrow. At all things being well, looking forward to that. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Today's broadcast from the World Free Zone Organization's annual international conference and exhibition during both sides of the story was brought to you by the Jamaica.
I don't want any. I'm kidding. Sure. Thanks. Bye, everybody. See you. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You have to do what you have to do. Thank you so much. Well done. Well done. Sure. Anytime. Mm-hmm.
The lady our program.
Okay.
Good afternoon, I am Jason Gordon. Coming up
Bye.
in the news segment of Beyond with the headline,